talking about the glute ham raises. You do those too, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll do it weighted, with a med ball or a plate, or we have band attachments on
Okay.
the glute ham, so I'll put, as heavy a band as I can around my neck as well.
Let's talk about gear. We know you're sponsored by Inzer Advanced Design, the greatest power gear in the world today. John Inzer is a mastermind of equipment and been around for some almost 30 years now. Let's talk about the gear that you wear when you squat. What are you wearing right now?
I wear, for briefs, I wear the Inzer Predator brief, and then the Leviathan, the canvas squat suit.
Okay.
Honestly, like, even if I was not sponsored by Inzer, this is exactly what I would be wearing. Like, I think the briefs are the best, hands down. Before I was sponsored, I wore some other gear, and it wasn't even comparable. As soon as I put the Predators on, I was totally hooked. So,
right.
And the Leviathan, that's the first suit I ever put my body into. It was like literally, a lot of people, that's such a big debate, as a beginner, what should I get into, and, honestly, like, the canvas was the first thing I used. I never, like, worked my way into anything.
Right.
I just went straight into, what people consider to be, the strongest suit out there. I just think form is going to be a big thing. I was flexible enough to use it, and, so it's been awesome. The combination of those two, the Predators and the Leviathan, are the best, really.
Let's move on to your bench. What kind of bench shirt are you wearing now?
The Ragex.
Ragex.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I've worn the denim before, years back, about 5 years ago, but now I wear the Ragex, and I've got several different Ragexes in my box of things, but actually I've worn the same exact Ragex, the same one,
right.
For the last 5 years, really. Every world record that I've broke in the bench press has been in the same exact shirt. So, and my body weight has changed, back and forth, so it's such a versatile shirt. I've been able to kind of tweak it for whatever body weight I am, or whatever, wherever my strength is at. But, it's lasted me so long, and it's not beat up, it's not torn up, it's still as good as new.
Bulletproof.
Yeah, basically.
So for the viewers, could you sort of give us like an overview of, like, when we talk about tweaking for body weight, like the different, like how you adjust the shirt, for someone who's a beginner with a Ragex, what are they doing as far as adjusting it to make it tighter, looser, all the adjustments? And
well, I usually I usually kind of wear it like all the way up, for some of my lighter attempts. But when I want to kind of tweak it for some heavier attempts to get a little more pop out of it, we kind of pull back on the back of the arm and the tricep. I like it for like my heaviest attempts. I like a really like tight, almost like a tight band of tension from behind, where my tricep meets my rear delt, all the way across the front, almost like a straight line around. That's where I've learned has been the most effective for me wearing the Ragex. That's, I've worn it all the way up. I've worn it really low. I've worn it, pulled the chest panel down really far. Worn the shoulders up high. I've tried a lot of different things, but if I get that tension right behind the triceps, that's exactly, what works for me in that shirt. But yeah, that's
what about head?
How I tweak it.
Okay. What about head placement? As far as, do you believe in using a lot chins to the chest and violently throwing your head back? Is that a part of?
I do raise my head some to get. It helps me to touch, but I don't ever like teach other lifters to do that, because most people, when they lift their head, they end up rolling their shoulders up also, which is just so bad on your shoulders. So, but I dig my shoulders in, well enough to where when I lift my head, I'm not rolling my shoulders off the bench. So, if anything, I would tell people to keep their head back, actually. But I have sometimes I have a difficult time touching, and lifting my head just a little bit helps me to pull it in that last little bit. But if I, if I had any other option, it would just be to lay my head flat.
Moving on to the deadlift.
Actually, I'm using the Leviathan also.
Wow.
It's I don't use the same one as I squat, and I use a different one that's got shorter leg lengths on it, and I turn it around backwards.
Oh, wow.
I wear it backwards. That's just like a tip that someone had told me a while back, and
very interesting.
And it seemed to, I don't know, like maybe it's just coincidence, but it did seem to give me a lot more pop off the floor by turning it around backwards. So yeah, I've been wearing the canvas for a while now for the deadlift, the Leviathan.
Wow. Okay. Actually, it sort of caught me off guard. I've never heard that before, but that's really, really interesting. Let's talk about mindset. Okay. The mindset that you have to be in to get into those kind of weights. Talking about setting world records. How does Lord Phelps prepare mentally?
I'm pretty laid back. A lot of people laugh about it because I could just be having a conversation and laughing about something, and then go right up to the bar and lift. That's just me. That's the way I prepare. I'm not I don't get like crazy. I don't, sometimes I get, right when I get up to the bar, I get, really focused and intense. But for me, almost, keeping my mind off of it is the way I like to approach it. Just being a little bit laid back and easygoing, and I don't really have any rituals.
So mental imagery, like you don't, the mental picture in your mind.
I do. Oh, for sure. I picture it. Oh, definitely. Like even the days and weeks leading up to the competition, I'm constantly visualizing. Visualizing not only the lift but numbers. Just over and over. The numbers that I want to hit. Because I do believe that the mind is a powerful thing.
Right,
so,
right.
I do practice a lot of visualization and just going over and over the certain numbers I want to hit, because I just have to believe it, so
I think
but then when I get to the competition, I just don't, the work is done, so I try not to I do get nervous, the times that I haven't gotten nervous at meets, it worries me and I end up bombing out, I like that feeling, I like that nervous feeling, my whole life I did gymnastics and individual sports. I like to perform. I feed off the crowd.
Right.
I just really enjoy doing it.
Well, it's almost like going to a gunfight. Because you want to have that nervousness because you want to be that alert. And I think that if you're not that excited about it, right, then there's no reason to be there if you're not excited about it.
Right.
Right. What do you think the overall perception from the public, of women's powerlifting, of women in powerlifting? Now, myself personally, I've known, tons and tons of female powerlifters. I think, all the ones I've known are, I think it's very hot. I think, a strong, confident woman, in today's, society is, that's an awesome thing. But, what have you seen or felt like, just pretty much what you're getting from the public about you in powerlifting, positive, negative, neutral?
It's been, I'd say for the most part, really positive. Some people, get negative, and I recently was going through some of my YouTube videos, and I've never really gone back through them like this and looked at comments and stuff. And
right. I know it is. Right.
I saw some pretty nasty comments. I thought, oh my gosh, but they're people I don't know. They're I don't even think they're people that are involved in powerlifting. So I just have to let it go, because for the most part the response has been so positive, especially from all the people in powerlifting. Everybody's been extremely supportive, and I get emails or calls from other female powerlifters, and nothing makes me happier than when they tell me that I've inspired them, or or whatever. That's all I want to do, So, if I can help anyone, then I've done something. So.
Well, again, and the reason I ask you that question is because I do believe that. I mean, you are a great representation of females in powerlifting because, you're talking about setting all-time world records. You're very fit. You're a very attractive woman, and you carry that banner for, the representation of women's powerlifting. I mean, so, good for you.
Oh my God, just in general, like I've seen a big difference. I think, a lot of women powerlifters, we can change a lot of other, the public's mind too, because, I have a lot of women clients or, a lot of my family or our friends who know nothing about powerlifting and who have become fans of the sport, have watched me grow, have watched me, do these things and, who have come to my competitions, who maybe knew I did this, but they came to the competitions and just were you could not believe what they were seeing. They absolutely loved it. So, I think if we can get more women into the sport, it's not going to be such a, taboo thing. It's not going to be weird, it'll be, totally accepted. And
who would you like to thank? Who, in your life, as far as making your lifting, helping you make it possible, who are some of the people that you would like to thank?
Well, my husband Shane, he's been coaching me for, since the beginning, even, from bodybuilding. So, designing my training programs and handling the meets and everything. So,
how long have you guys been together?
We've been married for 3 years, but together for almost 8 years.
Okay.
So he's been there since the beginning. So he's really, I definitely wouldn't be where I am, without his coaching. My sponsors, Insert Advanced Designs and Standard Process, they're a whole food supplement company. They've been, supporting me for the last, I think it's been 4 years now. So my family and my friends and everything. I mean, I've been really, really lucky. If you look at everything that's happened to me over the last, almost 6 years, it couldn't have been better. I fell into the right hands right away. This group of, my training partners in Detroit, they, it was perfect, and then going to Westside and, I've been really, really blessed, so.
That's great. Well, let me ask you, what are some of your goals? What are you looking to do before you leave this sport? What are some of the things you like to accomplish?
I would love to get that 800-pound squat, I know everybody I know, who supports me, they'd love to see me squat 800, it's been tough, the squat, I progressed so quickly, and then, it's been, it became almost like the lift that I struggle with the most, so I'm, getting that back, and, I'd love to squat 800. The bench press, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm even close to being tapped out in the bench press. I feel like I've just now figured it out, so the bench, I have no number in my head, but I'd just like to see where it goes, and the deadlift, without a doubt, I want an all-time record deadlift, only because, that's the one lift, it used to be my best lift, and I just, based off what I know I can do, I know I can do it, I
so
know
you have way more in the
for a long
tank.
time.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a goal of mine, is to, get the all-time record deadlift and to drop down a weight class to 148 and compete there as well. So this year should be interesting. I'm waiting till August to compete.
I was going to ask you, right, when's your next one? Okay, August is going to be.
Yeah.
And that's going to be
August, the Cincinnati Pro-Am, the Power Station Pro-Am that Louis Simmons and Mike Ferguson put on.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite meet. It's in my backyard, basically.
Right.
It's like the biggest meet of the year. So,
in closing, I would like to say, Laura, I'd like to thank you again for coming on the show. I am a big fan of yours, and I will be, watching your career.
Thank you.
And like I said, whatever I could do to ever help you, we're always here at Big Eagles Lair. And again, awesome, awesome lifting. I would expect to see, big numbers from you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Laura Phelps Sweat, and this is Big Eagles Lair, and we will be back after these messages.